a wheelchair. Then I mean with the overkill, smash your baby face with a steel chair. The square circle, you'll get killed there. Black and blue when you turn her purple, leaking red when it's spilled there. Ain't Bill Fair catching heat with the crowd, just another vicious heel down the cheat and he's proud. Hear the screams when allowed, the reading out his palms. Fuck your book of songs when the dirty Saudis dropping bombs. Ain't police with batons, but he's pro-martial law. You speak infidel, catch a partial to your jaw, bowing down to a law. Just pray you're not a victim. Equipped with a stable just in case he's got a sick him. No title when he strips him. He'll vacate the champ, sabotage him backstage, bash his face on the ramp. Your law, your law.
I mean, Army, it is Thursday, and you know what that means. Yes, we survived another Wednesday night, All Elite Wrestling Dynamite. We've got a special broadcast coming at you this week. I mean, he is still on vacay, still away at play. Hey, so it's me. It's that R to the B to the V, awaiting the arrival of the narrator himself. The greatest voices in professional wrestling. Hey, it is criminal that he is not on the big stage somewhere, but he'll find his way back there. We're waiting the arrival of one Timmy Baltimore. Now, I know that we're a little behind on the advertised start time that we had advertised for you at 12:30. I'm going to take the heat on this one. Timmy with his usual late self here. Here in Southern Ohio, we are dealing with just incredible high winds, storms throughout the evening, but the high winds are still rocking and rolling. You might be able to hear it behind me pounding on the building, but some technical difficulties has going. But hey, here comes the man. Even when we're late, he's even later, but it's still great to have him. Ladies and gentlemen, the narrator. Limping ain't easy. Timmy Baltimore.
Hey, thank you, RBV. You know, there's unfortunately like a name for it. In my family, my dad got bestowed it called tearing time. And amongst some of the, people in the industry, it's Timmy time. So I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Hey, what's up? How's everybody doing?
How you doing?
How you doing over there? I just came back from this spinal cord institute thing. Like it's this real aggressive kind of PT shock waves. Like they give you shots and Botox and orthotics. They do the whole thing, and it was like funded by Christopher Reeves, so it's the real deal. So pretty soon.
So you guys are like in there drinking those fetuses like we saw in South Park and all that?
Dude, I would. I totally would. I'd do it right here for you guys just so you could see it. Yeah, so bring it on, man. Bring it on. Unfortunately, we can't get stem cells, and you can't get enough stem cell therapy here in the United States to really to make the difference that I need. Good God. You can't get it here in the United States. So you got to go to like a Costa Rica, or you got to go to Central America, whatnot. But I can't get it anyway because you have to have, or you have to pay out of pocket most times. Insurance doesn't really cover it. Definitely not Medicare or Medicaid. So, yeah, man, it seems like the people that always really need the medicine or the cure or whatever are not the ones that get it. It's the, the Barry Bondses and the, Vince McMahons and, so, they have their little seances and gather around and, like you said, crack the baby fetuses open and blood of my blood and all that stuff. Would you be surprised? RBVs. What are you doing?
Be surprised of what?
I'm
listening, man. I'm taking it. I'm taking it all in. Actually, I was pulling up the results here. It said, it getting going here. Those are helpful.
Yeah, we need those
because
very helpful. It's impossible to remember everything. you know. So yeah, so this is what like I mean, that's what my spine, the whole thing looked like at one point. All the way up here with the head plate down there, that was the broken neck, and then this is the old thoracic. But now the neck stuff has been taken out, but it's still fused. So yeah, I could really use some of that stem cell, man. I could use whatever they got. But I think I'm a little old, and that ship will sail for me. But the next generation's definitely gonna reap those benefits, which is awesome.
Well, you know,
something stink? What you got?
No, man, I'm
smell?
talking, man. We got that real deal conversation here.
What do you got? Hey, blink twice if you're in a hostage situation. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
It might be a little bit this wind, man. I am trying to. If I move a few times here during the show, it's because I'm just trying to keep this feed going here.
Oh, the feed's screwed up.
It might be.
No.
So, that was some of the problems I was having here. I was resetting. We got hit yesterday. We've had even like our local energy company, Duke Energy, sent out, starting warnings yesterday. Like, get ready for it. We're going to have power outages, rolling power outages. The high winds have just been intense here. But hey, we're going to get through it, man. We're going to work our way through this thing.
That was the thing about living in, Kentuckiana. It was whatever the weather happened to be, it always felt like it was pretty extreme. Excuse me. Do you remember the ice storm of 2009?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, that's a story. Oh man, that's such a good one. So everybody lost their power in Louisville, Kentucky, and Indiana, and it was the pipes were nobody could, you had to go somewhere to find somebody with power. No water, no power, no nothing. And I was kind of on the low, like talking to this young lady that was, kind of coming around the school and whatnot. And I had a
go ahead and say a little rat action, huh?
No, I had a date with her that the night of the snow thing, and I went on a date and she had a sitter, and that because she had a little girl. And anyway, so I'm going to drop her off, and there's no power. There's no so I'm like, am I about to let this single mother walk into this frigid house with her child and no power and no water and go, see ya? I didn't have the heart. So I was like, okay, you know what? This won't last more than a day. You can come crash at my place. You and your daughter can have my bed. I'll take my couch. No big deal. No big deal. Unless, but I was trying to keep it quiet, right? I didn't want, because this was a young lady who had, kind of made some of the rounds. And when I get to my place, and right when we get in, I get them settled. I get a call from Casey James and Joey Mercury and Cliff Compton going, our power's out. We're coming to stay with you. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to brief you on something that's going on. So for the 4 days.
You should have told them. They would have thought you just had a surprise for all of them, man. You had some company to keep everybody warm.
And it's just the most intense, ball busting, endless night and day for those 4 days. And I had a 1-bedroom apartment, and boy, was it just ransacked by the end. But you can't. What am I going to do? Put them out and you know what I mean? I was one of the few people that had the power and the hot water and the whatnot. So, my little creep in and being a little shady on a date with someone, I got blown out the water. And the karma got me for trying to be shady about it and keep it under wraps because she had to stay with. So that one lives in infamy. So fellas,
how did the relationship progress after the
it was done. It was
a snow job, if you will?
No, we were done. I never spoke to her again after it. It was just, like she wasn't the greatest guest, and it wasn't supposed to go anywhere really. I didn't give that in inference. So when it was like day in, day out, and not like being the best guest, I started to get like, ugh, you know what? So by the fourth day, I was like, everybody got to go.
It's the Louisville snow job.
The Louisville snow job. And we go, the only time we separated was we would go to the gym. And when we went to the gym, they would all my buddies would say, how are you going to get out of this one? What are you going to do? I don't know if anybody can relate to something like that happening out there, but I thought it was pretty damn funny, and just a little bit of instant, maybe a little too much karma, but nevertheless.
In the end, did she screw Timmy B, or did Timmy B screw Timmy B?
Timmy B screwed Timmy B, because Timmy B foolishly waited to see if she got in all right when she got out of my car. And waited for her, and then she came out. It's like, I have no power. I know. Timmy B, no, I'm not a piece of shit like that. But I wish I was sometimes, it seems like. But no, I don't got that in me. So I definitely screwed myself by trying to even like creep and be shady and on the low. Because when you're in the wrestling business and in some OVW territory, everybody knows everybody's shit.
absolutely, brother. Well, Baltimore, it's just not a big day because we're here together.
I'm so happy
on Light Diffuse. But yeah, I love this perfect transition. The chat, they're filling up. They're joining us for the earlier start time. A bit of a different location. We're over at youtube.com/@Hameen Media Group. Also, just trying to pick up, maybe get us some new viewers here. I've got a streaming live on my Facebook page. Of course, you can always pick up anything from the Hameen Media Group anytime, anywhere, channelattitude.com. But today, brother, hashtag RBV Eats Out, hashtag National Pizza Day. The chat's talking about picking up some stuff from the dispensary. So, hey, they want to get those munchies going. It is National Pizza Day, Baltimore. I got to ask you, get you going here. Build me the perfect Timmy B pizza pie. What's your flavors on there, brother?
Bro, you guys are going to laugh at me and call me like a grade schooler. I am like, the food that I eat is pretty plain. Like, I do eat like a fourth grader. Like, I like my sandwiches is just turkey meat and cheese and butter. Like, what a weirdo. But for the perfect pizza, which is what you asked, pepperoni and mushrooms and sometimes the Brooklyn style, but normally whatever I guess Chicago style. Yeah, cheese plain's great. Look, Frank keeps it simple, man. He knows. Frank knows. It's crazy out there. You got to keep it simple. Oh, a Pizza Hut.
Keeping it simple.
Here we just saw that somebody commented about Pizza Hut. Last time I went to it was Little Caesars. They put so much goddamn garlic on the pizza that I smelled it on me for like a day. Disgusting.
There you go, Lab Rat. Lab Rat would have figured you for a ham and pineapple man.
I could do it. I definitely could do it. I just, what? Here's the truth of it all. I'll eat any of it, except, and this is so stupid because it's in everything, but I don't like them and I don't want them. Onions. I don't like onions. I don't want them. I don't need them. Get them the fuck away from me. I don't want onions in my life. Well, it's in everything. It's in everything. It's cooked in everything. Yeah, but I don't fucking see it. Get away.
Oh, you're killing me, man. When I was a kid, I used to eat onions like apples. Like, I just bite into the things.
That's disgusting.
I love them. And
Oh
you
my
mentioned the garlic and the onion. See, those are key elements to my perfect pizza. Because I'm going to start with, man, it's got that crust. I want it out of the brick oven. I like that crispness of it. I like the, kind of the thinner style, the crisp
Sure.
crust there. And we're going to start with just a little bit of the red sauce. And then I'm going to layer on a ton of garlic butter, brother. That's what I
Wow.
want on there. Ton of
Like,
garlic butter on there.
Is it
with the sauce.
overwhelming?
No, overwhelm it, man. I love it.
Okay.
Then you do the shredded mozzarella.
Ooh, that's good.
Then we're gonna add in some veggies. We got the peppers. We got black olives.
I love those.
Tons of onions I want on there. Then I'm going meat. You got to have thick cuts of Italian sausage, pepperoni. We're going to go on this bad boy. I'm building my dream pie here. So with that pepperoni, we're going to do some capicola ham. We're going to do some salami on that thing. Oh, I forgot on my veggies. I got to put some mushrooms in there. We're doing a pound of bacon.
Wow.
We got all that there. We're going to do double cheese. We're going to do the shredded mozzarella, and then we're going to do the big dabs of mozzarella. And we're going to bake all that bad boy for the perfect hashtag RBV eats out pizza pie, man.
Is that gonna like be able to hold the weight of what kind of pie you got, man? That does sound delicious. It really does. So when I say like mushrooms and pepperoni, I'm not saying like, I won't eat anything else. It's just like kind of what I order as a creature of habit. But man, I love all of that except onions.
Put my onions and my garlic.
And the garlic and the heavy garlic. I get a little garlic. I'm not a freaking space alien. I'm not a weirdo.
We got a lot of just some plain Janes, man. Just a lot of just give me some cheese, please, in the chat. So
it has a lot like and guys, tell me if you agree with this, HMG Army, that it has a great deal to do with like how we were raised and like what the food looked like if we were fortunate enough to have a parent or somebody to cook. Not everybody has that luxury, but like a lot of what you end up, if you don't go and, expand your taste buds, which a lot of people certainly do now, a lot of whatever you end up liking is what you liked because it's what you got as a kid. I know that's the case for me. If I could, like, you're going to hate this, RBV. I'm like the type of guy, and a lot of you guys out there in the audience, you're going to just shake your head at me and rue the day that I came upon this network. If I could take food in a pill, I would. You understand? The ritual of eating and the meal does nothing for me.
So like the Jetsons.
Yeah.
You get that little tablet, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I'm nutritionally set for the day. Once in a while I'll get a craving, but like, I don't know, man. I've never been over the moon about food. That's crazy.
Funny. It's funny you say it because Jargo would always say to me, I get so excited when we have a food topic on the shows, and he's always like Rick. He's like, I just eat because humanly I have to. Like somehow you eat for entertainment. Like
Well,
that's the difference between me and him. Obviously, you hear.
It's absolutely a real thing, right? RBV, like you like the ritual of a fine, like a meal that you're looking forward to. You like to know it's coming. You like the smell. You like the maybe hearing or seeing a little bit of the prep, and then it comes to you, and the whole thing, the whole ritual, like it's a thing that dumps a bunch of dopamine into your brain. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those. I guess we all have those things that kind of just triggers that addiction process in you.
Yeah, mine was drugs. But
hey, I deal with that battle with alcohol myself. Some people got drunk in so many ways too. Especially when you come off of of a great show and you've had a great performance in pro wrestling, you're on that high. You have that buzz. Yeah,
it's hard to get down, hard to sleep. The older I get, though, I'm so surly. I don't give a shit. Like I'm like, it was the shits. I'm out of here. I do like the Irish goodbye often. No, it's not completely true, but like, it's different, man. Like, how do I say this? With commentary, it's been a long time since like. MCW doesn't do Fight TV directly. They don't do that live. I get that feeling that like performance, and like the power of the performance, the passion, the nerves, the emotional toll when it's TV. Like I know that it's going out, or pay-per-view or whatever. Or I know that it's not just kind of like, well, somebody might watch. Like I know people are watching. Like that's where my performance boner comes from, And by the end of that, if I have a feeling that I've like really laid out a good broadcast, I am emotionally exhausted, not unlike a wrestler's having a great match or a really great angle. If you look at the Royal Rumble, at the end of the Rumble, if there was no match before that and just that angle, all of those guys were just emotional dust by the end of it, because you have to give all, just everything from the pit of your gut, or wherever that comes from. Ben would probably know better, because we are not improvists.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just busting your balls. But yeah, so I think it's almost like, I can get that rush too of helping individuals with an idea, or producing a promo or interview or something along those lines, that when it's a talent that's like ton of potential and they're right there, they're getting close, and I'm able to help them take the next step towards what they're trying to achieve as far as performance wise, or as a character and individual, personally, and I just use everything Dusty taught me and did, mixed in with a few others, but that's like so immensely that's so immensely I do talk too much. It's so immensely humbling, put a lot of gratitude in me that I was able to do that. So anyway, it's a talk show. What am I supposed to do? Finger pop my own asshole? What do you guys want?
Hey, we were talking about living in that moment, the energy, being there live, if it be from a commentator standpoint, from the performers, athletes, pro wrestlers, whatever the case might be. There's just Tuesday night, a lot of buzz in the sports world. LeBron James sets the all-time scoring record in the NBA. Since then, that you take that photo of him hitting that jumper. It's been compared to going back to 98, Michael Jordan taking his final shot for the Chicago Bulls in the game-winning shot to grab a NBA championship over the Jazz. Now, I'm going to share this here, Timmy. I want you to take a look at it. This is pretty cool. I mean, because I think there's a lot of levels and layers that you can kind of pull back for this conversation here. We got to pull up, but yeah, again, it's comparing these two shots. But what's more important than the shot itself is, if you zoom in, if you look at these audiences, it is really what's incredible about this is
Holy
I don't
moly.
really have the, let me see it.
No.
But you look at these audiences in Jordan's, there, in each of them, there's hundreds of people seen. Jordan's, it's all eyes, all energy, attention, enthusiasm. It's all it's them. It's them. Their eyes are on Jordan. You go down to the LeBron one. Everyone has their cell phone. They're living it digitally. And what we're talking about here, 25 years difference in how we've evolved as society. I think it's kind of, and I've seen different takes of this. Like if they had phones back then, they'd be using those. But I don't think that's a fair comparison. But
no, listen.
My bigger thing is that we've moved so much with our technology. We're so dependent on it that we're living through it. And we're losing our human emotion. And in so many ways, we need to watch ourselves because we're making ourselves, humans, obsolete.
Absolutely. Listen, how many people are sitting there live at the show watching it on a screen, through a screen, so that they can later watch a show that they were there, right? Instead of just being in the moment and remembering what you feel and talking about it. You know what I mean? Now it's no discussion. It's just, yeah, man, I was there. Look, and there's nothing, that's not a story, right? It used to be, man, I was there. And like, okay, so Todd was drunk and I ran out of money and we were just waiting. They wanted to go. Like, that's the beauty of that shit. So yeah, man, it's just kind of like ripping the intangibles and the we often talk about the nuances of wrestling, like the nuances of humanity and being alive. It's not just breathing and you know what I mean, and eating and shitting. It's all these experiences and emotions and how they affect your behavior and what you take from them and how you remember things. Nobody remembers the same thing the same way, that's so fucking crazy if you think about it. So
well, you think about like Tall Tales and all that. I mean, you start with a basic thing. Even like you were saying, yeah, we started out that morning, no one had money, but then you've got, by the time you told that story like 10 times, 15, 20 times, you've got like 4 different side adventures going on,
Yes. And that's how people kept themselves entertained before whatever. Before there was a time where, you could, I guess, like watch TV and all that, but before then, like, even though they were like, working hard, I'm assuming, and things of that nature, like the aristocrats and people in like the elite and fortunate and were telling stories.
I guess, Mike Bart here saying, he disagrees with it. That's because there is the other side of this. There's the opposing thought process here. Says he took a VHS camcorder to Monday Night Nitro and recorded the whole thing. And he says that he can watch back the memory of it and he can relive that. Now, I got to tell you, man, you missed a hell of a real experience sitting there with a cam. They pay people to do that for you. You can record that at home, but to sit there in your seat for the ticket you bought,
Mike was bootlegging. Mike was
bootlegging
out the back of his truck in '98. He's like, "Come on over here. I got the best of Horace Hogan. Come on." It's a blank tape too. Hey, so he's got a point.
But like for example, coaching girls basketball, these parents that watch the whole thing through their phones. Like,
yeah, it's recitals. They don't, like, there used to be the 1 or 2 parents with the cameras, right? There was a couple, and that was fine. But now that's the issue, or not even an issue. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look good. And I don't feel like anything good ultimately. I don't know. It's just, instead of like trusting your own eyes, they want the account of it to show. And I guess it makes sense. If we had that technology back then, we would have done it. But here's the thing that not many people talk about here, Richard. It's that we talk about, what was that? How long was that? 25 years?
25 years ago.
Yeah, 25
Roughly.
years. That's how much technology has advanced. But really, like in the last 10 years, its technology has advanced exponentially. Instead of, the next thing, it's the next thing to the 5th power. And at the end of the day, you're right. Like, I don't know. I'm not even trying to be like the old man. I don't know if like kids or even young adults can talk to, like, have conversations or express their feelings without like, I'm triggered, or just like, I don't know if people can settle differences or scraps or ask people out on dates. I don't know what the scene is now, but I'm telling you, I don't think it's a good sign that there's more phones than humans. So there's a price to be paid for all of this. And
it's funny, someone had said to me, you sound like an 80-year-old man, because I was, complaining in one of the chat circles that I'm in. And that's not what I'm getting at here. I'm not trying to bash and hate on technology. I love it. I use it every day in my work. It's connected people like us. We've got the chat. It's brought all of us together. I think it is a wonderful thing used properly. My thing here is the bigger picture is the difference there is you had those in that attendance with the Jordan, they were relying on their human instinct, our own wiring to process that moment. Right now, we are so reliant. The first thing we do is to rely on our technology to process our memories and those moments. And we need to draw those fine lines, as you said, from Jugger brought up a great point. I was talking with him last night about this, is he saw the real struggles with his 3 girls in the online, the e-learning, the e-school, and how different that is. And it takes away their human interaction. Timmy, you're mentioning things, we don't know how to go out and socialize. When we were coming up, it was first thing we could do is get off work and go to the bar to see what everybody was doing, what was going on. Now you're connected to your social media. I think those are all great, but we're walking that fine line of losing our human instincts for interaction with one another, and eventually relying so much on our technology that we could make ourselves obsolete. I've been studying a lot of jobs that are going to completely go away. We got a enormously growing population, and we're going to have far less jobs. How are we going to take care of these people besides moving towards a socialist society?
And they're all going to be big and fat because they're not going to move. They're going to be getting DoorDash. And it's going to be like
they're going to be ordering that 20-pound pizza I just made.
It's just I don't think it's a good thing. Back in the day, when we were coming up, if you didn't make it to the spot where everybody was meeting before they went out, you didn't know where the hell everybody went. Your night was shot. If you went down to a bar, you had to talk to a girl or a guy if that's your thing. You had to or if you're female, like you had to approach people. Here's what you had to do. You had to be okay with rejection. You had to have that in you and have the tools to be like, to not, when you were rejected, feel as though, oh, I'm broken, I'm bad. It's just not the case. So I've been watching a lot of Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, he's coming to an end, man.
What do you mean he's coming to an end?
Yeah, I don't know if it was mutual or they're just pulling it of the networks. But the show's going to be it's in its final run here.
No way, Robin won't have that.
I don't know that.
She'll throw a fit.
I don't know the details, but I read that headline somewhere. I'm sure that he will live on forever in the lures of Lifetime television for you.
On Oprah Winfrey Network own. He's on 20 hours a day, so I'll catch up there.
I'm sure he's going to be doing quite well in syndication. So
yeah, god dang, my life's not enough of a mess to get on Dr. Phil. Anyway, but I would. That's somebody I would mark out for a little bit.
Well, let's see. Let's see if hopefully we don't need some Dr. Phil-esque help. But let's go ahead, switch gears here, and dive into this week's AEW All Elite Wrestling Dynamite. This was our Night of Champions, or Championship Fight Night is what they dubbed this thing.
So there were 4 champions wrestling on the show, but only 2 championship matches.
We had representation from almost all of the AEW champions, if it was either appearances, matches, eliminators, if you will. The only one I thought was interesting that we didn't see is Jade. They didn't find anywhere to write her in this thing, I don't believe, right?
Where's my girl Jade? I don't know.
Right?
The baddest bitch. She, that bitch. Maybe she, I don't know, man. She's the type I think that would just be like, I'm not coming today. Everyone be like, okay.
Maybe she had some other things going on there.
Yeah.
Another thing, we got the champion themed episode. A lot of times AEW gets a lot of heat for highlighting too much of the Ring of Honor championships on their show. No Ring of Honor mentions here.
No, and it was before we get into it, it was a solid show, I thought. I know a lot of people have different opinions, but it's almost, we'll get into it, but I think like it's almost like we have to come to terms with the fact that AEW trying to get them to book or think in a way that is the old new right way, kind of the modern old way, and it's just not going to happen. What they're going to do though is have some like matches that if you're a big fan, like super fan or an internet wrestling community member, which we all are, you'll get to see these matches that maybe were kind of like dream matches to the super fan of Daniel Bryan working all types of people you never thought he would, right? And I think that's the legacy of AEW. So when I say like it was solid, I'm not saying like, man, the angles were hot. And I'm saying like, if we're going on the basis of what it is, and it seems like what it is not much psychology or forward thinking or angles and storytelling, because they're all just kind of like the same type of angle, in my opinion. It's the in-ring show.
Right. And, especially with this week, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, they tend to move much quicker than WWE in their programming. But especially this week, I kept finding myself saying, man, they are moving really quick. From bell to bell, segment to segment. There was a few times I just thought like, man, just give me a moment to process and enjoy, or pull out my phone and tape my television so I can enjoy it later that way. But, to really just digest what I saw here, brother, and it seemed that they were moving extra fast this week, but they did have a lot to get in, especially with when you kind of, as you said, same of repeat, rinse, repeat in these storylines, but they were cycling through a lot of stuff here, and they had a lot advertised.
Yeah, they had a whole stacked ass show. And there was some like, they were doing too much, because there was a moment, and I'm sure a lot of our audience, our fan base here saw it because they are extremely sharp. I think it was Guevara, or it was either Guevara or somebody was heading to the back after winning the match, and they oddly from the cut to the desk and then cut to the three heels like standing there like, what do we do? And then they kind of went to the back. I can't remember what damn match it was, and it's going to drive me crazy because I can see it in my head.
I'm sure it'll come to you as we're running through this thing. But let's start at the top of the show here. Again, we've got a lot advertised. It is the Champions Fight Night. We're going to get things going here in a big way. An eliminator match. Toshido, he's going to be taking on the rare treat for the live audience. They're going to get a television match from the All Elite Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion MJF. Again, this match was made last week as they got into a brawl backstage. Tony Khan had made it official that Kushida was going to get an eliminator match. Again, for those that maybe aren't familiar with this, eliminator matches, if you can score a pinfall on the champ, then it entitles you to a future championship opportunity. We're going to have 2 of those on this show.
God damn, what a pain in the ass. Why not just give him a title shot? I don't know. Make it more fun. I don't know. Whatever. There I go, doing that. Questioning why.
Well, this is something that really came. I don't know if they do this in Japan, because I know that Tony really likes that and all that, but something that was big in Ring of Honor. I think Impact just used this quite a bit in their proving ground style matches.
What's that?
You can beat a champ, that you'll get this opportunity. WWE even had a phase where they were going through this.
But
To me, that you're right though. I mean, just earn the opportunity the traditional way. Start a little, even if it's a week or 2 week program about it. Build the thing, get to it. I don't want to, for the sake of setting up a title match, I don't want to see my champions take pins or submissions.
Right. For the sake of building to a bigger pay-per-view match, I don't want to see the match before in a smaller capacity. Right? Like, the goal is to tease and flash from behind the curtain and build anticipation. Imagine that. Imagine if we built just a little anticipation on Dynamite. Instead, we just get matches. We just get matches. You're absolutely right, Mike. Because I know Mike brings up a good point saying that if you beat, and just like you said, RBV, if you beat the champion before he defends the title against the same person that just beat him, you kill the champion's credit. Like, you kill the champion, you kill the reason and the potential. What am I looking for? Anticipation for the match, because think about it. Now they would say, well, we do it because everybody would think that the champion would never get beat. So we like to swerve them. Great. I'm glad you like to swerve people, but sometimes people want to sit down, and when they sign up to watch a thriller or a horror, they don't want it to turn into a fucking buddy comedy. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's okay to just let it be the thing that it is all the way through. Sometimes you got to give the people legitimately what they want. Send them home happy. Imagine that. When you're happy but not fulfilled, you are going to come back. Because there's questions, there's unanswered beefs and what's going to happen next, and none of that. Okay, here's the thinking in my opinion, if I had to guess, and this is just my guess, I'm not sitting here going, this is what they were thinking. And I'm not saying that I heard this is what they were thinking. This is my guess. This Takashi individual there's something about him, right? He's charismatic. He's a big, tall kid. He seems to be fitting in really well. He can have good matches. So he's got the goods. And it's Tony's going, well, I want to give him a good match. I want to get him established with credibility. How can I do that in the quickest, most impactful manner? Okay, MJF's my biggest heel and my world champion. How about I have them have an interaction? That's a little risky, right? Because
I understand the thought process. So you're trying to get Kushida out there in a big moment to see how he measures up.
Yes, but I don't ever think you put your prized possession, your golden goose, or the goose that it's not a golden goose, is it? It's a goose. It's a regular goose that lays a golden egg, or is it a golden goose? Who the hell knows? You don't want to put him in any questionable positions or anything that could go sideways or as a margin for error, because he's that's your diamond. That's the gem. That's the jewel of the company. So it's a little strange to, I can see the thinking, but to me that thinking says inexperience. EFED thinking. No offense, but in the EFED, there's no real consequences. Anybody can get back over because you just type their name in, right? Like, anyway, so thankfully MJF and Takesha had Kushida. They worked well together, and
so you did like the match itself.
I did. I didn't think it should happen, but I did like it. I just think, man, MJF is, some of the masters of the professional wrestling game, the Finleys of the world and all those, could definitely find things. I'm sure that, hey, man, improve this, improve that. Nobody's perfect. But he somehow his matches as a heel that doesn't do very much at all are exquisite and entertaining as hell. And man, I like.
Well, because you're already, because he's done such a good job getting you emotionally invested in it.
Even if not, let's say he was called. That's absolutely right. You're 100% right. But even if not, like it would have been you know what I mean? A good match. Just even if these were two no personality cold guys. Now, it would,
just walking cold into a spot show.
Yeah, it would have. I mean, you would have said, "Oh, this is a good match." But the fact that you have this heel who, and let's be honest, there's been, especially in like the 80s, there was a somewhat of a notoriety for top guys main event that weren't really interested or couldn't like work that kind of weren't bumping champions, weren't workhorse guys in the sense of like what we're talking about. They were great at what they did, but you wouldn't see. I think he's a level ahead of even those individuals as far as his in-ring. I don't remember watching him have a bad match, but I'm sure it's happened in AEW. So he's the guy. Here's the problem, though, and we'll get to it. He's playing a dangerous game. Tony's playing a dangerous game with MJF.
Well, I got this question here for you,
sure,
because we get the post-match shenanigans, and I'll let you explain this here, Timmy. The question: why would MJF hit him with the ring afterwards? Shouldn't that have been? Shouldn't the finish have been him beating him with it during the match? I think I know the answer. I think I know why they went their way, but I'm going to let you do this one.
So he. What did he hit him? He tapped.
He hit him with the diamond ring. He gets him. Yeah, he puts him out, gets the win, and then he hits him with the diamond ring.
Okay, so Takeshita had to. He made him look good, but he wanted to go over solid because he should. He shouldn't have to slip over on Takeshita. The champ should be able to make his ass tap, right? Should be able. Now he got there kind of underhanded, but when it came time to do his Salt of the Earth, he did it like in the middle, tap, 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 if I remember correctly. The belt shot, I think, if he had done that, that would have been the finish. If it wasn't, it would have been a falsie, which would have been a false finish. Like he would have kicked out with Takeshita, and that isn't the right time and not the match to be kicking out of all that offense. But listen, so it wouldn't have fit in with what MJF needed to do, which was win solid via tap out in the middle of the ring. And then the belt was the heat, the fuck you at the end, because he didn't need to, but he still did it. And hence there's his heat, right?
Well, yeah, he shows himself as the dominant champ, but he still has to solidify that he is this ultimate scumbag. So you've had, the old saying, adding insult to injury. Well, this was adding injury to insult. Yes. Because he busted him open with that thing, and you've got Kushida even selling it later on with the head bandaged up where he took that shot to the side of the head.
Yeah, good job, Kushida. You better sell for the world champ. That's the champ, dude. That's like, I know it's like AEW, what are they doing? But like, that's their guy. That's their guy. So if they're not treating him with the most precaution, and if they're taking risks that aren't calculated and studied and chess moved beforehand, he's in danger. MJF is. He's in danger of being overused, overexposed. He's in danger of being the smartest guy in the room. He does not need to be the smartest guy in the room, MJF. He needs to be one of the most talented, one of the smartest for his age, but he needs people who have been there, done that are smarter than him, around him to protect him from himself and things that he may think, hey, this will work. This will be good. This will be good. And nobody's there to tell him, no, man, that won't work. Here's why. Let's try this. So I would hope, like, I'm sure, he has his people he calls on to if he's feeling like, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? But it's not like you're calling those people like every time you have a match. They need to be in the company, right? They need to be there. So when you're going out to do your business, they are there to help you get the most out of it. And it's, that I'm going to do what I want. And it has worked for him. It's working. It has worked. I think there's a little steam off it now, but it has worked, and it's going to be hard to tell him that another way works. But I think he's a smart cat. It's just dangerous that there aren't many around to get in his ear about it. It's just the possibility of overexposure is a problem.
While we're talking about MJF, let's go ahead and discuss the promo that he cut. Just a few segments after the match that we've got here. He's getting interviewed backstage, and he's talking about, he's the champ. He's not Daniel Bryan. He's going to do anything he can to get it done, and he takes us on a stroll down memory lane back to prom night, senior year. He's with his football buddies, and they're out having a good time. They show up to the dance, and there is his high school sweetheart, the beautiful, voluptuous. Everybody wants to have her. MJF's girl. He says, for the sake of the argument, we're going to call her Liv. And he goes on to tell the story about how they go out cruising it. But it was slick roads that night. They're out having a little fun. They're getting it done. And there was an accident. Slippery when wet. And MJF, he's the kind of guy, she bust her head into the windshield. He's got a little cut, but he's the kind of guy knowing that he's got to do whatever it takes to get it done. They switch seats. So he puts it on his side piece on his chick to take the heat from the cops, because that's the kind of guy that MJF is.
Wake up, honey. What'd you do? Wake up. What'd you do? Rick, what'd you think of this?
My first thought, really?
Yeah.
Simpsons did it. Homer avoided a DUI one time when he flipped the car and he put Marge in the driver's seat. When Wiggum showed up and put that flashlight, Marge got charged.
That's awesome. That's so funny. So
I liked it. I mean, it was so over the top. It was very obnoxious. So
it was a decision for sure. I don't know. I don't know what, I would like my MJF to not make dick sucking pantomime, and I would like him to not necessarily be a guy that gets a girl, a high school girl charged with DUI, because what had to get done? Was he he wasn't wrestling. I had to get it done. What did you have to get done? You had to save your ass. I don't equate that story, it was fucking bizarre. I don't equate that to necessarily what he was trying to say about the ends justify the means, and he'd push his own mom into the volcano if it meant he gets another day of breath, so I think what was going on, and this is my opinion again, that he was thinking, man, I've been talking idealistically, almost a lot of similes and metaphors as the devil in the mirror and yada yada. And I think he wanted to have a real life story that painted him in that light. And I feel like it was just, I feel like if you're and this is going to sound like very corporate minded, but if you're a sponsor or the Turner Media, that's not something you want to hear on your show. And it's like, well, it's fiction, man. Look, they say it in the movie or it's not in the movie. And I hear you, and that's a valid point. It is. However, I rebut with this that wrestling is one of the only entertainment entities where who you are in the ring and through the curtain is who the people think you are in real life. They don't,
for better or worse. It's a very unique thing to the genre of the entertainment. Yeah.
So when they hear that MJF had a high school girl, filleting him, and he crashed because he was buzzed or getting filleted, and then she was knocked out and he switched seats with her. I don't think that's the right kind of heat. I think that's like, I don't want to hear that heat, like, what the fuck, dude? It's not the right kind of heat. And that's a decision that I'm talking about. That's him taking what he says is a calculated risk in his mind, and nobody's saying, hold on, this is not the right kind of heat that you want. You do not want that's the type of heat that makes people go, I'm not going to watch him anymore. I'm not, that's fucked up, and I'm not going to watch him anymore.
And he had a little tongue in cheek in there with the, let's call her Liv, to that photo there that was circulating. People were making a fuss about it, a couple of weeks ago with him at a party. So a little tongue in cheek.
Leave that girl alone. Anyway, you know what I'm saying, though? Does that make sense? It's not the right type of heat.
I felt there too, that it got me also thinking, something cool you could do viral with this as well is, instead of MJF telling us these, because he's a tremendous storyteller, and I get what you're saying here, Timmy, and like, if I'm these network sponsors, I'm like, man, this is like a serious thing that you're, on multiple levels. We've got underage drinking. We've got drunk driving. We've got tampering with, I don't know, the scene of a serious crime.
Yeah. The statute of limitations is up, evidently. Sorry.
If you had staged maybe some things through social media with people speaking out throughout his life about all the terrible things he's done to them.
That's actually a great idea, RBV.
Yeah, unless you open up like a Pandora's box and you find out like some real like terrible things that he actually has been doing to all.
You hire actors, dummy.
I know, but then you trigger real people that just have like shit against him.
I don't think he was that bad of a guy, honestly. I think
I think that would be like a fun way to
TikTok,
use your social media. Yeah.
I dated MJF in the 10th grade, and he farted in my Volkswagen bug and it smelled for a week. It's like funny shit that embarrasses him a little bit. And also makes him look like a real son of a bitch. But
the kids he was shaken down for milk money and all that.
Yeah, this was I don't like that. I wish he hadn't done that kind of heat. That doesn't interest me at all. Like, that's like somebody coming on and going, like the Katie Vick angle, or like, I killed her. Like, what? People come to wrestling and they want they want stuff, anchored in reality, and they want personal issues, as in a personal issue of, hey man, you slept with my girl, or hey man, you did this, or I'm coming for my revenge. But when it comes to like, hey, I'm gonna tie up your kids, and I'm gonna, like, well, I don't think people want that in their wrestling, and that's just me.
I guess what you say is, it's all right. Wrestling is absolutely at its best when we're mirroring society and kind of taking it to that extreme, but be more tactful and tasteful in the approach to it.
Ask, is it the right kind of heat, the right kind of emotion? and this is not. It's just not. It's like makes people feel some sort of way, as the kids used to say. And again, this is man. I hope MJF. He's not gonna. I don't know. I wish there was some individuals right there on the spot, right there to kind of say, "Ooh, I don't know, man."
Well, let's talk about another. Ooh, I don't know, man. But we've got some ladies segments here. We got the Eliminator, big pop here, man. These crowds they're eating it up. They love the AEW Women's Champion Jamie Hayter. She's got an Eliminator match here against the Bunny. This was also set up next week. Bunny put out the challenge. Bunny there with she's with her corner, but Penelope Ford is joining her. Pretty much a put over match here for the champ. Nice to see Bunny in a spotlight there. Always a fan of her, but this is more about Hayter. She goes out there, hits the big Haterade, picks up the big win. And what was really cringe here, Timmy, I'm going to get them all together and let you just give us a quick take on it. This backstage segment with Saraya and Storm. God, these back. You talk about someone needs to just grab the reins for the. Especially on this episode, it really hit me, man, that these backstage segments at AEW are so freaking indie. I mean, the only thing they're missing from a perfect indie promo is telling us the date, venue, and address of the shows.
And having like a interviewer who's 400 pounds and 6 feet, like.
Yeah. Opposed to a 5'7", 125 heavyweight champion that they're interviewing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So hold on. Let's put a pin in that backstage VTR segment. I think Bunny got hurt. Cherry bomb. I think she got hurt at the finish because it was Jamie. Something happened where Bunny was not with it, and Jamie just grabbed her and delicately hit her finish, which God bless it. Thank you for doing that, because nobody wants to see anybody get injured. And pinned her right there. So I don't know if they had more to come on the back end, but Jamie Hayter showed she's got the goods. She's solid, in my opinion, because a lot of people don't know how to handle the injuries, and they freak out a little bit or try too much, or like when that one guy from the Dark Order just got his lights turned off in that 4-way match, and they're like picking him up and pulling him around, and it's like, bro, he may have a brain injury or spinal injury. You can't be moving him like that. That is the upside.
That's some serious rope work right there for the Bunny, man. She got him.
She's a beautiful girl, man. In my opinion, I think I find her very adorable. The Bunny, I find her very adorable. But
that's the thing. I don't understand. Like all that dark, demented paint on, makeup on her. She's like the perfect girl next door. Kind of this bubbly vibe about her, and you're trying to make her this goth chick or something.
They kind of they missed the
and the same with Penelope. You got two of the most gorgeous girls in your company, and they're just
that's true. What are they doing with Penelope's makeup? It's crazy. I think Pepper Parks, or the Blade, as it were, is they have that package of her with them, and I think the reason that she's in that is because they probably would say we don't have anything else, so
I know
she's doing that. But I hope she's okay. It was pretty nasty. It looked somewhat serious, whatever it was at the finish. So yeah, these people love Jamie Hayter. Man, that it's an organic, real sentiment. Like, that's what getting over is. It's when they watch the progression and they feel like they've been there for the journey, and now you're their person, right? And she's
it is insane and awesome how she's evolved
Evolved,
from,
yeah.
starting with AEW, what we, when we first seen her to what she is now. Even you go look at the pictures. Ben and I talked about this a few weeks ago. I mean, the transformation, her physique is incredible. And then you get into her understanding of, where she's been in the ring. Still, quite a ways to go, but I'm sure she'll get there because she seems like someone that is so, overly dedicated to just honing her craft and being the absolute best.
She's someone, when her contract expires, I think they would have interest in WWE for sure. No, Blabrat, can AEW have a show without someone getting hurt? It seems to be just a regular occurrence. Again, wrestling is like drugs. You can just say no. And the idea that you're going to be put in a position where you're taking a bump or being thrown in a direction where you have no control, you can't calculate where you're going, or somebody's just the physics of it, you're just like, what are you guys thinking? It's mind-boggling to me that more people don't just stop that shit. Just like wrestle a different style.
In the real world, it's death and taxes. In AEW, it's injuries and blood.
What about that backstage promo? That who did
baby girl?
They jumped Leva Bates. They said,
the library. Oh my god, this was the terrible indie stuff. And then she's just her playing possum and dead. They're trying to cut this promo and this terrible spray paint thing.
Why don't they beat up -1? Okay, you beat up the freaking librarian. Leave her alone. And the whole thing. I liked Toni Storm. There's a vacancy in her eyes in her performance, and I don't know what the hell is up, but she is not into it. I feel like maybe she didn't want to get roped into this Saraya thing, because there's no way they can look at this and go, well, that bombed, so now we got to try to get something out of it.
That's interesting you say that, because it seemed like she was getting some steam under her. That fire was getting lit. She
pronouns
Storm. Sorry, Ben. Storm, and Ben had mentioned this plenty of times. He had complimented her, put her over on. Storm was one of those that seemed to really improve and get better since leaving WWE, coming to AEW. She found a groove, and then it seemed they just pivot off of her. She was that interim champ for a while. They finally, and then boom, they take that belt off of her, and then they drop the interim, make Hayter just the champ. They moved away from, and now she's in this backseat role to Saraya. So
she's riding bitch. Yeah.
You're on top of the world. You think you're leading this division, and it's like back to the back of the bus, back of the train.
She didn't like all the promise and all the hype. She didn't quite deliver. She didn't quite live up to it. She looks great. She's talented, but they were looking for their babyface star, their beautiful blonde to throw on the ring truck and have everybody go, who's that? And it's just, tell me if you guys agree, or if you watch, there's a vacancy. Like she just, it feels like she is not into it, or something else is going on. But that's the reason that it has to be. They gave the ball to her, and it was just kind of nonchalant. Like, and in her defense, sure, it's been bad booking, but whatever, they're giving her time. They're giving her TV time. Make something happen. Make the most of it. Look at those ass boys. They're killing it. Make the most of it. And the shit with Saraya and the shit with her invasion and the revolution, it's so transparent and it's so bad. And it's so obvious what happened there and where it went wrong, and that this is now literally damage control, the real damage control. And the people aren't going to buy it. The fake stomps and the loser, hey, here's, it's just, I don't see it. I don't see it taking off. I really don't. But because the AEW fans are so like weirdly like they're like, oh, women's respect the women's wrestling, but then they're like probably big perverts behind closed doors. They don't want to like. I feel like there's a hesitance to boo or to really voice that this is the shits, in fear of saying the wrong thing. We've come a long way from poor Francine being in the middle of the ECW arena, having thousands of people chanting, "You're a crack whore. She's a crack whore." So you had to have thick skin for her. So like, there's none of that anymore, and I think that's fine. I think that's good. I think it is a little much, that kind of chant, but at the same time, there's also this hesitance to really tell the truth on these things and these performances. And it's Soraya's thing changed because it was bad, and now it's a little less bad, but everybody knows
the truth is it's just not that good.
It's just not she's not that good. Right. That's it. She's not that good.
It's okay to say that. You're not being sexist. You're not trying to offend anyone. You're giving an honest assessment of what you're seeing, and it's not good.
It's not good, and I don't know why. The issue, I guess, the money, obviously, but like, this young lady is, man, she's lucky to be vertical, and that could go sideways on her, and I hope it doesn't. I think there's again, this is pure speculation, but I'm sure there's a lot of like pressure, or trying to get the whole family involved, or because they want to get booked nationally. That they never had that big break like her. So I definitely think there's a lot of that kind of gypsy mentality at work with
they got their own terrible movie. That's all they need. We don't need any more of this on our television. So
they did, didn't they? Yeah,
yes, they did. They did. This one, I'm sure that the
Vince
fans.
Vaughn played Prince Albert, didn't he?
I think so. He looks like a Prince Albert. I'm sure this match. I'm sure the fans that are in attendance, those that absolutely love AEW, have been raving about this one. I didn't understand anything in it. I mean, yeah, it was hard hitting. It was action packed. There was moments of excitement inside of the match and stuff, but the booking I'm completely lost on. This is the final match for the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, to earn his title opportunity against MJF. That's going to be challenging a 60-man Iron Man match. But this match here with Roosh, I'm scratching my head this entire time. This is, hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is the blood portion of AEW. I mean, what they put Bryan through here, I'm just sitting there. Why? Why are we doing this? I mean, every time.
Elaborate. What? Why don't you think it was good?
Inside, just to the blood immediately here. I'm seeing he is gushing. I mean, he looks like Carrie, like someone had dumped a bucket of pig blood all over him here. He's thinking the ultimate ass. Well, what else more are they going to do to him inside of this 60-minute Iron Man match? You already got my emotions running so damn high, or you're expecting them to run this high on this thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's week in, week out here with him. The same things, and you keep up in this ante, and I'm like, okay, are you gonna throw this guy off of a freaking building?
See, I think there's room for that guy. I think there is room in wrestling, definitely, for the Bryan Danielsons. It's like a Benoit spot where he would just work every week and everybody would have their best match with Chris Benoit. Everybody has their best match with Danielson. That's his bread and butter. That's what he does. He is the guy that goes out and wrestles and truly against any style. Now, was the blood too much? It didn't need it. I don't think it didn't need it. I'm not sure what that decision was about.
I mean, to me, yeah. I mean, you're gushing all this blood here, and we're not even at the payoff.
No, and I just don't. I don't know, to put him in more jeopardy. But Roosh was whooping his ass. I really like Roosh, man. With the right kind of booking and in the right place, I think this guy would be awesome and is awesome. But I don't think AEW has allowed the booking of AEW hasn't quite done him justice. But he's also, I think he did really well here actually. But against Moxley, I was like, yeah, that was kind of whatever. But he's interesting looking. He has charisma that bridges the gap of a language barrier. And I know people probably don't feel this way in the chat, but I think Roosh is definitely money. And I hope maybe he's greener pastures. Yeah, and that's a good point, Mike Martin. The cross-contamination with the double blood. Abby the Butcher really set that whole idea and movement off of, in the old days, the old school guys would, gig, 6-7 nights a week and just have raw meat, and the other guy their opponent would gig, and you just have this like, who knows what people were doing back in the day. It's very dangerous, very, reckless proposition, the double blading and the cross contamination. A bloody Daniel Bryan in a match where he's, trying to get to the Iron Man match, I think is a bit much. I agree with you. However, I thought this was a good showing for Roosh. I thought it helped up his stock, and I think that a place like NXT to start, Roosh would shoot to the moon there, because they would keep him from. There's an old saying in wrestling that they would rather you go too far and have to reel you in rather than telling you, come on, man, go further, be more of whatever. And in a place like WWE or NXT, if he went too far, they would be able to reel him in as far as the fighting on the outside and, all those things. And here's another thing to think about, though, RBV and the army out there. Roosh is from Mexico. He is no longer with Ring of Honor, but he was their champ there. He watches this product, and I guarantee you that he's thinking, this is what the people want here. They want this blood. They want the fights on the outside, because he sees Moxley doing it and other top guys doing it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's his thinking, not because he just wants to do it, but probably because he thinks that this is what works and what the people want in this promotion. Elsewhere, he can do anything and everything else. So can Bryan Danielson. But they're of the mindset that this is what those AEW fans want. Is that true? Yeah, a good chunk of them do want that. So,
well, Danielson picks up the win. Post-match, we get a visual that I thought, would have been perfect in the payoff, the actual match of the 60 men. You get MJF limps his ass down to the ring, hits Anderson with that diamond, with the AEW Dynamite diamond ring, and then locks him into the salt of the earth. I mean, that with all that blood, taking that shot with that final shot with that ring, as the clock is winding down in an Iron Man match, I'm thinking to myself, like, man, that would be an epic moment, a finish for that match. But you're giving it to me, not even in their match, on Dynamite weeks before this thing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they think like, well, this is a tease for when it happens in the match, and you're right, that would be pretty cool. but I mean, it's not really. It's you are giving it to them, right? I and the deal with Brian having color, there may be the thinking that this is good for the highlight reel, right? They which begs the question, why wouldn't Brian get color after the shot with the ring? Why'd he do it in the match? I don't know. But that visual is going to be great for the highlight reel, right? Like the bloody Brian and MJF.
I guess selling that in the build, people are going to be looking for it. So once you get them hooked, you get their money. Who gives a shit what payoff you give at your pay-per-view?
That's true. So what but does AEW do video packages like that, or am I just thinking to apply?
They have some good ones. I mean, they're nowhere on the level. And WWE in all of entertainment, they're damn near the best in the world. They are very good when they put together their hype packages. Yes. AEW gets some decent ones out there. In the big matches, the big moments like that, they're usually pretty sound. They're solid on it. So speaking of real quick, we'll move on to the next match here. But I'm waiting for AEW to come up with a new gimmick match. Instead of First Blood, how about a gimmick match called No Blood? If you bleed, you lose.
Well, that's what a First Blood match is, you dipshit.
No, you win. Shit. Hey, if you want to get technical here, man, you want to get technical.
Why don't you gig yourself?
Let me hold on. Let me get the camera focusing.
Thank God you're handsome, buddy.
Head in my head.
Woo. Wow.
All right. Hey, on that magic of editing, that will not be on the replay channel.
Oh, come on. That's the good stuff.
Let's go on to our next. We actually have a title match here. Belts on the line. AEW World's Trios Championship. We got the Elite. Of course, that's Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. They are taking on AR Fox and Top Flight, Dante and Darius Martin. This is what you expect. I mean, this is trios wrestling. This is what you're going to get from Omega and the Bucks. It's fast-paced. Everybody moving around. All these interchangeable parts. I don't know. At certain points in matches, I'll see flashes of why I like the Bucks, why I like New Japan Young Bucks as opposed to Western Society Young Bucks. So there's some fun things in here. Obviously, the young guns here with Top Flight, and they're not so young, but well-traveled, but newer to the larger stage in Fox. But they get their moments to shine. Baltimore quickly break this one down for us as we move on here, trying to get through the show.
AR Fox is pretty incredible, and he showed that, and he's been showing that, and he has been pretty incredible for a long time. Not my type of match, right? I don't enjoy these things tremendously because the psychology is just not there for me. Kicking out of every cool move and everybody doing the most awesome moves ever, and then rolling to the outside and 2 minutes later feeding him, or a minute later feeding him for another cool. It's just, there's no selling, or it's just not there for me. And that being said, this type of match, who does it better? Like the Bucks are masters at this. Kenny, along with Kenny, they do this type of match, and there is a fan base for this type of match. It's not that large, and it's not growing, but there is a fan base for it. What really stood out is, when you're in there with like a Kenny Omega or the Bucks, I think people would assume that those three, the Elite, are going to be the ones to watch. They're going to have your attention. Not the case here. AR Fox was the star of this match. The sequence of cutters that he was giving everyone, while you can say what you want, but that was really impressive. I would love to see AR Fox in a singles role, kind of, working with guys that maybe don't do all those kind of maneuvers, and see how it goes. Work in the Brody Lees, you know what I mean? So yeah, Brody King. I didn't say Brody Lee. Brody Kings of the world. So that was impressive to me. Now, here's the thing too that is really interesting. One of our friends of the show, a guy named Shiloh, is Truth Magnum, Turbo Floyd, his partner, the Outrunners. They're a tag team in the Kentuckiana. They hustle though. They met in OVW. Trained by Buddy Wayne, Rip Rogers, Al Snow, Danny Davis. They got all the goods. They are getting the opportunities now on Dark.
Picked up their big first win with AEW.
Yeah, and people like the boys are popping for him, which means Tony's taking notice of their ridiculous shit like we're the youngest men alive, which is pretty hilarious. And they are a tag team, a working heel tag team, meaning that the whole point of their matches is the hot tag. It's not the moves. It's not, false finishes. It's the hot tag. That's how they work these matches that people are going, these are great. They're working just the traditional style, the way it's meant to be, of cutting off the ring, quick tags in and out. The heels get over with cheating. The baby faces don't do that until they are fed up and they've had enough. Just rules to this thing and build toward the anticipation of, like, do you remember being a kid and the false tag and the ref didn't see it last minute and just being losing your mind? All those things. They're going to be a really valuable asset, the Outrunners, because guys like the Acclaimed, guys that are stars but green, need a heel team to walk them through the psychology of a great tag team match. So I'm really excited. I don't know if I don't think anything's official, but they're getting some opportunities and it's looking very positive for them.
There's a great energy around them. There's a lot of conversation that's happening here. I know they're excited, but hey, the world is being introduced to one of the best, flat out best tag teams.
Yeah, there's three things that happen three things that'll lead you to success: hard work, talent, and timing. And for timing, you just got to be over prepared and show up as much as possible. You can't really control all that. And then, that's not to be confused with the three elements of what makes us a wrestling superstar. But the three keys to success, in my opinion: hard work, talent, timing. And these guys didn't come out of nowhere. They've been hustling for a long time. So cheers to the Outrunners. I hope they make billions of dollars.
Now let's rewind into the show real quick, because I skipped over this, make sure, because I know we're up on a clock today, but
relax, it's okay.
It's good. We keep rolling on this thing then. We missed this though, and believe me, I was okay.
Did we?
I was okay with it. The gauntlet, the Sammy Garcia Gauntlet, Jericho Appreciation Society. This thing, it just seemed like it was going to be a miss when they announced this thing last week. And well, if it seemed like it was going to be a miss, I say that it delivered from my perspective here. But it's Ricky Starks. She's got to run through the handful, the Jericho Appreciation Society, a few of those members, and Rivera and Garcia especially. But he opens this thing up. He's got to take on Parker and Menard, and he picks up the pinfall on them pretty quick. Then we get Garcia out. Sammy comes out. Kind of distraction. Who's it going to be? This thing unfolds. We get the masked man. I did pop a little bit on the commentary going back and forth. How Taz tried to just no-sell it. Oh my God! Obviously, Shivani's put. Look at the physique, and we get the Jericho reveal. Timmy, your thoughts on this thing, where it's going?
I think Ricky Starks is pretty great. Everybody says a feud with Jericho, a program with Jericho leaves you off worse. They don't understand how the industry works. They don't understand how wrestlers think. And no honest, no wrestler who hasn't been established on a national platform is ever going to say, I don't want to work Chris Jericho, because you're going to learn something. You're going to get better. Even if the booking's the shits, even if you are left on the totem pole lower than where you started, you're going to be a better performer by the end of it. I liked the beginning, kind of quick elimination of Parker, Cool Hand Pete, and Magic Matt, Magic Daddy. I love that, like, because they're almost like Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello. That's the deal, right? So
they're the hip modern day Stooges.
Yeah, so Park gets eliminated. Matt is losing his mind in a quick roll up. 1, 2, 3. That was perfect. Then we bring the room down. Then all the charisma that was just in the ring between Ricky Starks and Magic Matt and Cool Hand, and like just a lot of like characters that you can, you know what I mean? You can put them on any show and people will watch. Here comes Daniel Garcia. Wet cardboard in trunks. So boring. Or he actually was wearing pleather pants. He's a nobody, no physique, no emotion. He reminds me of the kid in high school who like had a shitty dad and got in all the fights and thought he was hard, but he wasn't. He's just, surly looking. And in my mind, I picture him, and this is, again, an assumption. He could be the nicest guy. I don't fucking know. He looks like somebody that would believe their own shit. And Sammy Guevara, I'm sure he's, dude isn't indie ready. He is somebody I could see, on an indie show and go, hey, that kid knows how to wrestle well. That was a pretty decent match. But, I'm sure if we ever see him on WWE, it's going to be in a black security shirt or getting F5 with 5 other people that look like him.
This spot me. You're describing that kid in high school. Frank Picklebarrel says, hey, fucker, I was that kid.
I knew it.
Knew something was up with him.
So yeah, I and the Sammy Guevara, man, he's got, for me, it's changed the channel heat, but there's something, he's very punchable, and his wife is just, there's something, there's a lot of ingredients there, and if somebody used them correctly in the right order, he would be nuclear. But instead we get like this grab ass, who gives a fuck, I'm friends with Jericho kind of feel. He's gotten as far as he's going to go with it. Daniel Garcia, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, man, there must be like beer goggles for Tony with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't find his matches particularly entertaining or captivating. He has no personality and looks like a freaking the guy that works at Safelight or something to fix your mirror. Like, I just don't. I don't know, man. But guy, you know what? Good for him. Because I'm sure he busted his ass, worked really hard, and he's making a lot more money than I am. So I am what they call a hater.
I was going to say, as the chat said, is mentioning, there's a lot of people on this roster, and Garcia's got one of those coveted spots. I mean, there's over 123, 150 people if you go to their roster page that are listed, and not only is Garcia getting weekly television time, he's out there with Jericho
doing characters,
these prime spots.
Is any and how can Jericho, who's so smart, look at allegedly look at Garcia and think that that's good?
Well, Scott Woodford
Yeah.
I think last week was sharing those great pictures from the Jericho cruise. Maybe he got some insight there on the cruise, maybe a little schmoozing and boozing with Garcia. But you think he's gonna be a big star there? Woodford, share with us why. Give us a defense here, man.
No, he's obviously perfectly entitled to that. And these are just differing opinions, man. Some people, like, some things just click with them that don't click with others. And I see him as somebody that, dang, he's on a national TV show, and that's pretty huge. And I guess, goddamn, I don't know. Somebody loves the way he works. Somebody loves his attitude. Somebody loves his poise. And I just don't see it.
He's got that deeper connection with Jericho. Like when he went through some hard times and Jericho was there to
But what do we do? Like, is this group therapy? Just because you're friends with someone get the fuck out of here. Like, you got to be able to deliver. And I'm sure his matches are possibly psychologically sound, and maybe you know what? He's probably one of those guys, and I'd like to know who just said, I think he's going to be a big star. He's one of those guys that probably people enjoy watching live. And from live to the television, something, in my opinion, is lost. I don't know. I probably want confirmation of that. But he's probably somebody people enjoy watching live. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, it seems like the good old boys club, but with dorks.
Remember when these were men? Remember when they were Dusty Rhodes and Dick Murdoch? They had a fucking donkey in their in the room that they lived in, and they brought it around because they were maniacs, and they would drive to different shows and shoot at the street signs and throw beer bottles out of the windows and go to the pub and get in a fist fight because you did that just to keep the credibility up.
What you did. That's what you did.
What you did, and you ribbed each other, and you played, you ball busted each other, and you woke up and you trained and you went to the gym and you made the towns, and guys like Jim Cornette were the pussies. Now Jim Cornette's like a dangerous guy compared to these motherfuckers. Jim Cornette was the weakest one of that crew. Think about that. And now, like, holy shit, if you put him in a locker room now, people would be like, oh, he's really toxic, and he's man, wrestling is at its best. Wrestling is something, in my opinion, that deserves the respect of looking the part. People don't want to pay money to see their next door neighbor, and a degree of realism. The fans deserve it, and the wrestlers should have enough pride in their work to have it and work snug and work from a place of believability. And man, once that's gone, once that's sacrificed, now everybody's in on it. And all these guys that collect tapes, and I'm not coming at the fans hard, but they want to be Dave Meltzer now. They don't want to be The Rock. Like, it's easier.
My God. What a terrible world.
It's easier to become a Sean Ross Sapp or whatever, rather than getting in the business and trying to proceed. Even though the business now is so much easier to get into than it ever should be. When I came in and started, it was like job guys at schools, guys that were doing jobs. Everybody out of school. Now, I mean, there's talented guys that have schools, and it's just, I don't know. Where are all the grown-ass men? Wrestling is at its best when there's a sense of danger. Like, when there's a sense of, this could go sideways at any point. Like, it's being held together, the chaos with a thread. That's when wrestling's at its best, in my opinion. And that goes for in the back and out with the people.
Well said, sir. I can't imagine living in a world where people want to be Dave Meltzer now.
Well, you know what I mean, like pundits, like what we're doing here. Like, we're Mark.
No, there is a major. there is a major difference between what's happening in our conversations, what we are doing, reasons that we got into the business than what Dave Meltzer got into this. And I think even the reasons that Dave got into, he's forgotten what those are about. Because now he gets these, these quick hits, this celebrity feel, if you will, inside of his little bubble where he thinks he's something there. But what is Dave? What is Meltzer doing right now to give back to the business? In no way, shape, or form is he helping grow an audience or grow this bubble or selling it to a grander audience.
Is that his responsibility?
Is it really anyone's? I mean, but if you're going to be involved, if you have a passion for it, then you want to be a part of that, moving the machine forward, correct?
Correct. You want to leave it better than you found it. But
where is he doing that? What is his positive footprint right now?
Well, his positive footprint is that he's the only one that documented all this bullshit. So that's his footprint, and it's pretty important because nobody documented any of this except him. But it's not his responsibility.
We have Cornette in his own sense that has all this documentation. Someone like a Bill Apter, who is always held, held himself to a higher standard.
So
operated with integrity.
A whole sport, a whole entity of entertainment for 100 years plus, and three people have kept that. You know what I'm saying? Come on. That's what his importance is. He's not responsible for forwarding the business. Listen, man, he's a guy that didn't have what it took. So he took another route to be around or become an authority in his own mind and others in the business. If he was really about it, he'd be bumping and feeding, and he's not. So,
okay. So it might not be his job to grow this business, to move it forward, but you're saying that he is a major part of the history. He has documented this. So it is his responsibility to protect those traditions and the history, which now that he is in more sense mocking and exposing.
Well, it's weird, right? Because he should just be an observer, and he should just be somebody that scribes what actually happens, not kind of speculation as fact. I think that's the biggest problem. But he should have a journalistic responsibility that when a story breaks, he calls and asks for comment from somebody. You know what I mean? That's important. There's just no rules to this shit. Because it's pro wrestling, nobody that's really important that could make decisions on a high level in society is ever going to step in and defend it. So it's the Wild West, man. And the only rule, if you're a wrestler and a worker, is get over. Once you get over, you can make the rules. And I don't know what the rules are for, what are they called? I would love to put Dave and some of these guys that started wrestling sites in rooms with, Keith Morrison and the Lester Holt and these real journalists and them tell them what they do and show their work and just be oh my, this is not journalism. But
the biggest mockery is in AEW does it. WWE just did it at the Rumble. It is these press scrums afterwards, and you see these degenerate, bottom-dwelling, pretending to be press sheet writers. It's infuriating watching this. I mean, I like the idea of the press scrums and all that. First of all, these people, I mean, they look like hobos when they show up to this.
We should send you out there.
Please, at least I'll show up. At least I'll show up in a work fashion if you want, and act like I have a shred, an ounce of it in journalistic integrity.
You'll cause trouble. They don't want that trouble. Yeah, I know, man. But
especially in the case of WWE, why the hell aren't you reaching out to actual people from Fox? You have. It's not like you don't have any connections with those people or ESPN.
it's a weird cloak and dagger business, bro. It's ever since
But no, I
the
gotta see.
kayfabe, right? Like ever since the days of working together but not having people know we're working together, it's been a very like deep throat cloak and dagger, like meet me in the garage and don't tell them I'm the stooge, and like nobody's getting paid to stooge, which is crazy. Like I'm always like, why are they doing it if they don't get money? But these guys have carved a life and a niche out for themselves because the audience wants more. It all draws back to they want to know more. They want to know what's happening, not in the ring, but what's happening in the back. They want all of that. And because that market is there, there's, people are able to come on and not be vetted and just kind of either make outlandish, crazy claims, steal rehash news, or just do kiss ass kind of, reports. There's some people that do, like, I know some people have issues with like David Bix. I think he kind of is a bit strange, but like I do his research that he does is very thorough. So like, there's something there. That's like, it's like, if I'm sitting there going, well, that's the best we got. That's what then let's, look into a wrestling crowd and that should answer your question.
I guess look into the crowd. It answers all the questions. Hey, we were talking about Dynamite, so we'll cover a few more things here for you. There were a few backstage segments. I'm just going to mention there wasn't really anything of interest in. We got the Samoa Joe promo, putting over Darby as a great competitor, but Wardlow is worthless, and now Joe's going to come for the kill shot. We also got that brief vignette package for Hook, so we saw those two champions here on Champion Fight Night.
What happened to Willie Hobbs? What happened to Hobbs's?
The Book of Hobbs, it's in and out whenever they can fit something in, man, which is depressing. I did mention that we didn't see Jade. We also didn't see the AEW. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, never mind. So we just didn't see Jade for the champions. One backstage vignette I did like, because weekly I talk about missed opportunities in cross promotion and kind of jump on the marketing department. Sure. I like that we had Impractical Jokers make an appearance here.
Yeah.
We're talking about other shows that are, on TBS now. They're also on True TV, so you're even in the same family, but you're crossing networks. You got shows crossing. They're teasing the Jericho involvement.
They could have done more. They could have done more.
I think they could have done some really cool stuff with it. But I was happy that they at least made it an attempt at it. Yeah. Because each week I usually have 4 or 5 things that they absolutely missed on. I'm still furious. Last week, they had Omega and the Bucks, the Elite, in a basketball gymnasium. They're on the court with the ball. You had Ethan Page, Hardy, and one of
Isaiah
come in here. I'm sitting there like, yes, they're going to play hoops. It's going to be 3-on-3. By the way, hey, what's on your network coming up this week? Oh, the NBA All-Star game.
Yeah.
How the hell are you not, doing something to cross promote there? But
they're not sports fans, probably. I don't know. I think you're right. There's so many missed opportunities.
Oh, yes, that's what I forgot. That's where Orange Cassidy, the Atlantic Championship, was not on there.
Well, we'll all be looking forward to that when it returns. I would have liked to see the Impractical Jokers maybe be the thread throughout the backstage segments, and then maybe come out like how they send. First of all, I can't stand that show. Everybody loves it. My girlfriend now and my ex love that show. So I don't like it. I don't know why. I know it's a wholesome show. It's funny. I don't like it. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. But I can see why people love it. I would have had them be sort of backstage. How they make a dude go do the thing and they're in his ear. That would have been perfect as like a referee spot or something like that.
Are you sure that's not who's usually calling the spots for the referees?
What, the Jokers?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's saying anything to them because they're not doing a whole lot except Paul Turner. Yeah, man, I witnessed a few weeks ago Rick Knox go 1, 2, 3, and he got to 9, and he goes, yeah. Nothing. It's just insane.
Hold on. Even
And
Ben
that
mentioned this
crossover-
going back real quick. In the Danielson Roosh match, there was it would have been like a 40 count.
1. Like, what do you do if there are no rules? If there is no authority, then nothing fucking matters. It's that simple. If there is nothing for a bad guy to weasel his way out of or cheat, then there's no heat. If there's no heat, there's no money. Like this is not complicated. It's not a restriction. The rules. It's a platform for creativity to tell your story in a solid, palatable way where people go, oh, okay, I get it. That makes sense. Instead, they go, referees are a joke. What are they even doing there? They're taking up space. And people that I guarantee you the casual person goes, oh, no, but they're the ones that tell them what. You know what I mean? And that's all they think the refs are there for. It's just maddening, and I can't stand it. And that with that trios match, that's what I mean. Like, I can't stand. It seems so petty, but it's one of the biggest things: the burial of the ref and not establishing that authority. It's just so bad. Anyway, moving on. We gotta get to this main event.
We got main event time. Scissor me, daddy ass. But hey, he says this is going to be an emotional one for him. He's invested in both teams. Obviously, he's got the bond in the blood. So what we're going to find out here is blood thicker than water. That's what this is all about. Speculation all week. Are we going to get the turn? Who is daddy ass going to side with? Who's he going to maybe assist? Who's he leaving with? He's going to stay out of this thing. We get that earlier in the show. So we do get we're here at main event time. Guns out first. And of course, the Acclaim with that diss track is they're making their way to the ring, getting all the recent references. We got the Chinese balloon. We got going back to the border wall. There was some Spanish in there that I have no idea what the hell. You're more worldly than I am, Timmy. You might have picked up what they said, but
San Jose. They were in San Jose, so.
Was it? I thought it was in El Paso.
Oh, El Paso. They were in El Paso. Never mind.
Yeah. So anyway, we got the Acclaim defending the All Elite Wrestling World Tag Team Championships against the Guns. And to me, this one, I'll let you kind of break it down. My overall thought was there's a few points in this where you guys regularly talk, like get out at the peak. I thought they missed. And trying to do too much, overbooked.
Yeah, they time and time again we see. Okay, so it's unfortunate, but it was bound to happen. The Acclaimed begins to lose steam because they're putting matches that they shouldn't be put in. Anthony Bowen is going to be good. Max Caster's, he's the sizzle. He seems like he's got 2 left feet, or he's too big for his. He feels like it looks like he thinks he's small, but he's big. The Guns are going to be great. I'm glad that was the right finish. I love that their music is terrible. And it really, I think people were expecting Billy Gunn to turn. And when he didn't, that was the right.
That was a good moment. You know, they were taking it really slow, where it was almost looking too obvious.
Because we want legitimate heat, good heat on the Guns, and what better way than to stab your father in the back and cheat to win the titles? Now, the thing to take notice of is now that the titles have come off the Acclaimed, are we? And I don't think they needed them, but you know they definitely don't need them now. How will they start to evolve and maintain their momentum? Because at some point, I mean, again, people love Scissor Me Daddy Ass, but they shouldn't have to need Billy Gunn. It's like a weird thing, and it works. But I think when you're a one-hit wonder and a one-trick pony, brother, you got to go learn some new holds and some new things. And it's only a matter of time, I think, before people are like, okay, we've heard the diss tracks. Okay, we love the Acclaim. We love the Scissor. What else you got for us, guys? And especially if they fall victim to bad booking. And they've been put in these scenarios where they are wrestling 30-minute matches, and they're, you can tell they don't, that's not to their strengths. They, get lost a little bit or fudge something up late, or and they're just, that's where they are in their experience, and they're being thrust into a high profile position. Now, I think the Ass Boys, the Guns, are fantastic. I think we're just.
Well, I think here's a good question about the Acclaim. Are they willing to learn new things?
Yeah, I believe so. From a little bit of my interaction with them, they seemed pretty down to earth. But being willing to learn new things and actively and aggressively pursuing that pursuit of knowledge and learning are two different things. Who's going up and trying to have veterans watch their stuff and help them get the feedback that they can improve, as opposed to waiting, or it happenstance that feedback comes to you, being open to it. That's the world may never know.
Now, you like the Guns choice here? You don't feel that maybe when we look at some of the star power questions, quotes here, star power on this roster, is it too soon for a young team like the Guns, or is it? No, let's see what they got.
It's time. It's time, because they've been playing a little. They were in the crowd, and then they were kind of like the goofy Ass Boys. It's time to give them those titles, to elevate them. The titles are a prop that elevate a talent, and the Guns are immediately pushed up a notch and elevated with those tag team titles. And you can also keep it on them and help cultivate their heat for a long time, because these guys aren't going to win fair and square. They can work underhanded, and they're so whiny, and they're so that they're excellent. They're great. They're the perfect young heel pro wrestling tag team that people will pay money to see them get their asses kicked. I love them.
I don't know, man. I think maybe they should have pulled the trigger and did the title switch last week when the Outrunners were in there against the Acclaim.
There it is. But no, I'm sure they'll be working them a lot, because they need that pacing, and they need to. There's no hot tags. Remember that? Where'd the hot tag go? Watch AEW. Where's the hot tag?
The years and years of doing shows here and working live and just really sitting under that learning tree of the Dr. Trailer Park, Ted McNair, baby.
Oh, the beast, the man beast.
Man beast, man. Dr. Beast, Ted McNair. Yeah. He's constantly
sure.
Hot tag. They ruined the hot tag. No one understands what a hot tag is. And I this past Tuesday working up there in Dayton, and one of the kids, and he's real quick, he reaches out to me because he knows, like, did I talk to you guys? And I was telling him, like, man, I was like, I'm just going to repeat to you what these guys tell me. I'll help you with promos and, setting things up and, story. And I'm watching back and say, I like this story, but I like what's happening here. It's like, man, and he's a skinny guy, real skinny cruiserweight, nice athlete. I said, you're doing great, man. And then you had to go for that Pele kick, and you fucked up your hot tag. You were fighting back. You were diving, juking and jabbing, diving, missing all these blows, but you ruined it as soon as you engaged that contact yourself.
Yeah. There's so many, it's not this paint by numbers thing. There's so many nuances to it that can make it a beautiful thing. But any match, the biggest, most important thing is that finish. And if you can pop them or steal it away, that's what you work towards in a tag team match, it's always the hot tag. That's the loudest they usually get, and that's why I usually go home after it or finish the match. So,
well, Timmy, overall for this episode, you said it was solid going in. Now we've laid it out. We've talked about it. Are you still happy with it? Maybe you moved up. Maybe you're a little more excited. Maybe you thought it was better than prior.
Maybe no. I think I was happy with the finish of the guns. So maybe I kind of let that trickle down to the rest of the show. AR Fox stands out in my mind. Roosh and his viciousness, I suppose, kind of stood out. Daniel Bryan just being shot out of a cannon every week kind of stands out. I wish Ricky Stark stood out, and I don't remember him from the show, and that's not good. Jamie Hayter stood out, and I mean, look, the whole show as in its total form was a decent for what Dynamite is. It was decent. It was good, and I don't know if everybody shares that, but on the scale of what Dynamite is on and what it is, I thought it was fairly solid.
Very, very nice.
And I'm not afraid to say it.
You don't care who's listening, man. Don't care what you think about him. You're getting the real take from Timmy. Do you happen to stick around to TBS or wherever you're viewing the airing? Do you stick around after Dynamite for this new show from Dana White, this Power Slap?
I don't got time for that shit, RBV.
The remote was I've been tuning out afterwards. I get the gist of it. I mean, obviously, it's just people slapping the shit out of each other. But now they're living in a house, and the remote was on the other side of the room. And I'm being super lazy at this point after Dynamite. I'm not getting my fat ass up unless I have to go get that thing. So I watched this thing. I don't know. It is entertaining. I mean, but it's just entertaining in the way that a car crash or just pure stupidity. I don't know.
Which is entertaining.
Jackass. I mean, whatever. At its height and all this. But at least with Jackass, it would change.
They were having fun. They were happy.
They're having fun with it. But I mean, these are just people just clean slaps to your skull, to your brain. What
is going on in your life where you go, I could do that?
They're shooting these promos with them, and they're like, man, I've been built for this. I've been made. All my training's been around. Like, so your whole training regimen was about just getting the living shit knocked out of your skull. What the hell?
It is a corrupt, just ugly gutter world, and the end is nigh, and these are the end times, and yada yada. No, but like seriously, we have always been fascinated with watching other people hurt and in pain and either die or be battled till the death and live vicariously through it. I don't know how long this thing will last, but obviously they're hopeful for it.
Make it again. It was unfair of me to make the comparison to Jackass because, as you said perfectly, at least in Jackass, they're having fun. They're doing some things.
Yeah,
these guys are like trying to present this thing as like a serious. It's going to be a full on the next, craze sport competition. I mean, they're all living in this house together, so they're trying to create this tension. But then they're spending the entire day at the gym, like going through these techniques and the training regimens. And
what if they get in the fist fight? Like, is it like no? That's like real taboo in that world. Like, no, dude, we don't punch. Like, dude, he punched me. They
did. They kicked someone out of the house last night because they were starting like a real fight.
He punched me. He didn't slap me. He punched me. All right, like, yeah, it's so goddamn bizarre.
One of our own, the great voice, the great mind, the financial mind, Colin Weissong. He mentioned this last night in the chat, but right here, you're gonna be able to bet on power slapping soon.
Yeah, it may be here to stay for a little while. It's just a car crash, and people love to watch it. Love to watch cops Love to watch all that stuff. So
I'm just waiting for the branding on Wednesday nights. TBS, the bitch slap. Wednesday night bitch slap. You got the bitches on AEW, and then you got the slapping after it.
oh my God, I would love, like, could you imagine like having Jade
Yeah,
Cargill? I'd
nut
pay
slaps.
good money to have her slap me. You know,
Nut slaps are next.
Hey, I got a split, man. RBV.
Later, that's what we're saying here. But Timmy,
Later, guys.
Where am I at on this one? Let's say goodbye real quick here, man. Timmy, just plug whatever you got going on. We'll get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I don't got nothing going on, and if I do, go to my Twitter. I'll be plugging it there. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for all your support and all your love, and you know, and you could be doing anything right now, and you're choosing to spend the one thing you can never buy or get back, and that's time with us.
Also, yeah, we had a few dozen joining us here live, the special airtime, special location over on the Hami Media Group YouTube. Hopefully we got a new audience to reach out to some new eyes and ears through my Facebook feed there. Hey, this week, a very special Friday. Locker Room's going to be available on channelattitude.com. Ben Hameen on assignment with maybe the potentially sideways sideburns. They were going to hope that they were sober enough to record something. I'm sure they've got it done. Coming up this week, Smack Attack's going to be coming at you this Saturday. HMG Sports Special, the Super Bowl show. It's going to be myself, Hartnett, Jargo, Panetta. We're going to be talking all sorts of things, prop bets, the game itself, Super Bowl eats. So much fun conversation going to be coming at you this Saturday. And, of course, Hameen's going to be back. Baltimore's going to be back. I'm going to hopefully be there. Let's see. Well, see which one of us gets up after the Super Bowl. Who's survived this thing for the Monday locker room.
Yeah, I think you'll be hurting a little bit. Anyway,
dude, I'm going to hold to what I said, man. I don't have any plans. I don't have a whole lot of interest in this thing. I think I'm just going to go get myself my own spread, sit here at the divorced dad bachelor pad, watch the game by myself, cry into my Houday towel, and try to make it Monday morning. Timmy, I know you're up against it. I know you've got some places to go, places to be.
Yeah, I don't like with that kind of scene. I don't know. Like, I used to drink by myself on those occasions and stuff. I don't do that no more. Like, yeah, that's no good. So you be careful.
I never drink alone. I've never kept alcohol in the house. Especially even dealing with problems with drinking and all that. I've never had it in the house. I never drink alone.
Whoa, boy, I did. Anyway.
All right. Well, anyway, to get out of here, we're going to alleviate with this, man. Cheesesteaks galore. Fly, Eagles, fly. We'll see you. Timmy and I will see you Monday morning, hopefully. Thanks, guys.